Welcome to For Profit and for Good, brought to you by the Clark University School of Business. My name is Dr. David Jordan, Dean of the School of Business, and your host for Profit and for Good. It's a series of videocasts that discuss the intersections of business, government, and society. In today's episodes, we'll discuss the role of artificial intelligence in business. My guests for this episode include Dr. Jing Zhang, Associate Dean and Professor of Business Analytics here at the School of Business at Clark, and Dr. Paul Cotnoir, Dean of the Becker School of Design and Technology at Clark University. So to set the stage for our discussion, we can all agree that businesses all over the world are employing artificial intelligence in a variety of ways, using it for cybersecurity, AI for fraud management, customer support, marketing, predictive analytics, and communications. Forbes magazine describes AI as a set of technologies that enable computers to perform a variety of advanced functions, including the ability to analyze data, make business recommendations, and much more at speeds often beyond human capabilities, particularly quantum AI, for example. So given all the discussions in B schools and boardrooms around the world, let's try to unpack what AI is and how it's impacting government, society, and most importantly, business. So I'm going to direct my first question to Dr. Cotnoir. Paul, let's start with what is artificial intelligence? Can you provide our listeners with some sort of definition or sense of what this phenomena is?
Sure I can, David, and thank you very much for having me. It's a great question. Unfortunately for me, as a mechanical engineer, there's no simple answer, and I didn't have Jing to refer to when you sent me this question. So I asked the AI, ChatGPT 4, and it said artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence in machines that are programmed to think, learn, and problem solve like humans. AI systems can perform tasks that typically require human intelligence, such as recognizing speech, understanding language, making decisions, and visual perception. Now, I take exception with almost everything in that definition.
Sure.
In my opinion, the term AI, it's kind of a misnomer. It refers to computer programs, and they're neither, I think, artificial nor necessarily intelligent as we define intelligence from a human perspective. AI programs are programs. They're instructions given to computers. They're operating instructions that are created by humans. They have some self-modifying features that allows them to exceed their programming in some cases, and it makes them seem independent or even human-like in a lot of ways. But in reality, they work within a fairly close set of parameters, from my limited understanding, to perform very specific functions. They don't function at all the way our brain works necessarily. So they can't truly be said to be an artificial version of the way we think, because they don't think the way we do, in my opinion. Also, I don't think they're particularly intelligent if we're thinking about intelligence from a human perspective, from the perspective that includes consciousness, self-awareness, or even empathy, right? But if the data that AI is trained with and the programming that's done is done in a good way and it's of high quality and it's kept current, these systems are extraordinarily powerful. They're really, really good at taking large sets of data and deriving some meaning from that data because they can see patterns.
Fantastic. So AI is not yet at the level of human
Still got a ways to go to be mouse
computation, but it's getting closer, and it's
getting close to the mouse.
Very interesting. Yeah. So, Dr. Zhang, tell us about your perspective as a professor in School of Business. What are the benefits of AI? How does business use this phenomena?
So I think we can have the debate on the definition of intelligence, but business has been in a rush to take advantage of many benefits of the artificial intelligence. And we have to understand, this is a continuum of development. And along with other breakthrough of information technology, it's not just happened, in the last couple of years. So this process actually started when computer comes into the realm of business operations, and AI just accelerated it. So the benefits really it can be categorized as three kinds. And the first is automate, and then the second is integrate, and the third is transform. So thinking about the benefits, of course, at the first level, AI can do a lot of the work faster, cheaper, and better. So it enhances the efficiency of business operations and eliminates a lot of these manual operations. So definitely automation is the first level of benefit. And then AI also kind of enabled business integrates business process across different function areas and cross the boundary with other organizations. And then lastly, I think a lot of people are really hopeful but also at the same time concerned about is this transformation of industries and then various kind of business models. So that is yet to unfold in front of our eyes in the next decade.
Wow. Fascinating. So Dr. Jing gave us a little information about some of the benefits. Speeds up processes, helps businesses compute metadata. It provides businesses competitive advantage in many new emerging areas. Let's take the flip of that. Okay. What are some of the problems with AI?
Sure.
Some of the cons?
Sure. So, Dr. Jing, you defined it largely as a type of automation, and I agree completely, and its benefits are extraordinarily compelling. And that my background is actually from a field of robotics and manufacturing automation. And certainly those, the benefits of that are extraordinary in terms of doing things better, faster, cheaper, cleaner in many cases. However, there are some concerns that go from job displacement to the high cost of implementation to even the fact that AI can be used, for disinformation if it's not used properly. But I want to just give you three quick examples.
Sure.
And the first is bias. And if anyone has seen the documentary Coded Bias by Jay Buolamwini from the MIT Media Lab, it's absolutely clear, for instance, we are always observed, for instance, by cameras, by surveillance cameras. And that surveillance data, for instance, which is a huge data set, can be mined for very useful data. So, for instance, if a crime occurs, you can look at all of this footage, and you possibly could find the perpetrator, out of a crowd if the person has gone on the lam, right? Unfortunately, those systems which are used, the AI systems which are used to extract this data and find the individuals, are created by humans. And humans, through their evolutionary biology, have built-in biases. This is what has caused us to become who we are. And since we build the AI, we build those biases into the AI. So when you're looking to find perpetrators, a lot of, for instance, racial stereotyping and gender stereotyping can work its way into that. So bias is a concern. A second, if you don't mind, I'm just going to quickly take your photograph. Okay. Now you're a handsome guy, but I have another program here. It's an AI photo enhancer. I press one button and it enhances your photo. It removes the background and makes you look like a glamour shot.
Oh,
right?
wow.
So the problem is once I press that button, I no longer own that photo anymore. So the company that sells the program that enhances it now owns the IP. So I've lost the IP. Also, tomorrow your face might show up on a box of Wheaties or something. But in any case, so data security and IP concerns are part of this. And the third element has to do with the politicization. I didn't say that very well, but of AI, right? So I was reading an article the other day. It said that last year there were 45 fatal accidents that involved autonomous vehicles. 40 of those 45 involved Tesla vehicles. Now that in itself isn't extremely disturbing because most of the autonomous vehicles on the road today are made by Tesla. But the problem is that the CEO of Tesla, Elon Musk, is part of the incoming presidential administration, Trump's administration, and they've already said they're going to reduce or eliminate this type of NTSB reporting of fatal accidents. And I think what that means is that we lose this little bit of control that we might have had on this element of AI. So those are the three kinds. Certainly the business, there's so many compelling business reasons to use the technology, but there are some concerns that we have to be aware of as well.
Fantastic. So AI can help business by improving efficiency, reducing risk of errors, data security issues, but there are cons. There are some problems associated with AI. As you mentioned, bias is one. Privacy and data security, another.
Yeah, look for your picture on
So business is using AI broadly. How are we at the Clark School of Business using AI in our classrooms? What are we teaching our students that come to us from all over the world on the advantages and disadvantages of artificial intelligence technologies as it applies to their learning here at a business school?
So that's kind of, we have both sides of the story. So on one side, we try to stay at the forefront of integrating AI into our curriculum. So students are exposed to these various advantages of AI, and then when they go out to the workplace, they are equipped with the essential knowledge about it. But then at the same time, we also, give them a comprehensive view about the disadvantage or potential flaw of AI, and then how to deal with that in this balancing act when something is just emerging. But anyway, so students are learning to leverage advanced AI methods such as machine learning, deep neural network for image processing, text data analysis, big data, advanced data engineering, and recently generative AI tools like OpenAI's ChatGPT. For example, one of our class is conducted on powerful platforms such as the Amazon AWS cloud services, allow students to work with large data sets and complex models. One particular practical example of this technique is fraud detection. Students learn to identify anomaly in large data sets and analyze textual data for red flags, and even use ChatGPT's generative AI engines to detect fraudulent behaviors. There are a lot of interesting things that students experiment with. They are writing Python code to interface with the ChatGPT's API. So it utilizes its generative AI engine to identify and analyze potential fraud patterns. That's just one example in the business analytics discipline, but I can go on to talk about how the professor is using these tools and teaching students these tools in accounting, in marketing, in finance, and even in supply chain logistic management.
Fantastic. So here at the School of Business, it's safe to say then that professors and students are interacting with AI technologies every day in their classes.
Yes.
This is fantastic.
Yes.
Paul, tell us about the Becker School of Media and Technology. How are students here at Clark in your area using AI technologies?
There are a lot of applications within the game development field where AI is used. One certainly is in game testing. You can send games out to be played by individuals, or you can devise AI systems which can identify bugs and glitches by simulating, millions of playthroughs very quickly and effectively. That's one way. AI models can predict the way players are going to interact with games, which is really interesting. Students are working on that. AI can improve, and this is where most of the work is being done, improving what are called NPC or non-playable character actions. So you're playing a game and you might be playing against, a real person or three people that the computer is creating. Basically, these players are playing chess or checkers or whatever the game is. It's probably more complex than that. But improving that NPC behavior, being able to level up and level down the difficulty of the game is really critical. Because if you make a game that's too simple, people get bored and stop playing it. If it's too difficult, they get frustrated and stop playing it. So AI can be used to see how someone's playing and then level it up or level it down. What we do absolutely discourage is the use of generative AI, because you can't identify where that inspiration has come from, where that information has come from. So using it in one of your artworks or one of your designs is essentially tantamount to plagiarism. So while AI is certainly used in a lot of interesting and useful ways, generative AI is one area that we tend to stay away from and discourage student use of.
So here at Clark, AI technologies are cutting edge in all of the classrooms, it appears. Because business and society at large is using AI more than ever. So our students and our educational programs have to also involve that. I was talking to one of our professors in accounting recently, and she said she uses AI in her accounting programs. Now, when I was in business school some decades ago, I was an accounting major. I didn't have AI, and so this struck me. How are we using AI, for example, in something like accounting?
AI in accounting, first, of course, it's used for automate repetitive tasks and identify patterns in financial data and provide insights to help decision maker to make better decisions. And I just mentioned, the fraud detection, identify anomaly is a big thing in audit and tax arena. Using AI application in accounting can automatically categorize expenses, reconcile accounts, and generate financial reports. So this saved a lot of time and reduced risk of human errors.
So students today aren't necessarily sitting down working on debits and credits. They're using AI to collect data and try to interpret data. What does this mean in classrooms and in business?
Yes.
Fantastic. We've been hearing a lot about something called machine learning. What is machine learning?
This is something that's really interesting in the AI era. So Dr. Cotnoir mentioned in the first question some of the limitation of the intelligence injected by the computer. Part of the reason of that, especially in the early years of AI development, is because we try to develop rules. We think that intelligence are a set of rules, can be replaced by sets of rules. So we use the programming to code these rules. Thousands and thousands, millions of rules. And then over time, we find a lot of limitations because intelligence just can't easily be replaced by rules, or we know more than we understand that we know. And then what happened is instead of teaching computer the rules, the industry thought, why don't we ask the computer to find the rules, to find the hidden patterns. So that's machine learning. So instead of giving the rules, you give a lot of examples. You give an example of this, and then you give thousands, millions, and billions of examples, and allow the computer to hunt for the patterns and the rules, and then learn from these examples. So that's kind of the essence of machine learning. Machine learning is a subset of AI. It automatically enables machine or system to learn from the data and make predictions. Actually, we have a class called machine learning in our curriculum, and this course allows students to learn advanced analytics and again hands-on experience on machine learning. In this class, there are some practical examples that can illustrate how the machine learning is applied in business. For example, the professor Yue Gao is teaching this class, and she used classification model to predict the stock market and see the index movement direction, whether it's up or down. She also used machine learning method to help online banking services to determine whether or not a transaction being performed on site is legitimate or fraudulent based on the user's IP address, past transactions, so on and so forth. And then students need to discuss this example in class, and then they work with real-world data set on those examples. So they have the first experience to testing on the engine of machine learning.
Wonderful. So at School of Business, it seems like almost all of our programs, marketing, finance, accounting, data analytics, marketing analytics, are all using AI technologies in the classroom in preparing students for the real world job opportunities and the emerging nature of what business is using, AI tools. Let me start with Paul. I'm interested in, because I've read so much about, AI is going to take over the way people think, it's going to surpass human intelligence. You suggested that may not be the case, although AI can crunch data much faster than we could possibly do it. What's the future of AI? Where is AI going to be in the next 5-10 years from today? And how do we as an academic institution prepare students for that?
That's really the question. And I mean, my crystal ball isn't any clearer than anyone else's when it comes to this. It's just going to get more and more sophisticated, obviously, and what it's able to do, it's going to be able to do better and faster, and most likely with less input. However, I think the discussion really that we have to do within the next 5 years is how to balance its advantages for its potential drawbacks. I think the overarching concern at this point is that it is being deployed widely. And unfortunately, I think it's being used by individuals who don't necessarily understand the ramifications, the total ramifications of its use. I have no idea what they are. But with such a powerful technology, I know that they will have significant impacts on society. And, I ran across a quote which I've used in a history of technology class that I teach. And it's by John Lienhard, who was a professor of mechanical engineering at the University of Houston. And he was asked, to give a comment on, well, how is technology going to change us? And he says, well, we're mirrored by our machines, by our technology, and our technology is mirrored by us. So we see ourselves in our technology, and we see our technology in us. The question is not whether we should let it change us, or that we're going to be changed by it, because we will be, but whether we're to be lifted up or dragged down in the process. And I think that's where really the discussion and where a lot of the of the work that we do here at Clark, why we have it in all of our classes is so important, so that our students are prepared to have this discussion moving forward, wherever it takes us.
Brave new world we're heading to. Dr. Jing, same question. Where do you see AI in business and in our classrooms here at Clark?
I'm a little bit more of an optimism kind of person.
Sure.
And I see, just in the business world, from improving decision making to transforming different industries. So AI is changing the way how we interact with the world. And as an emerging technology, AI already play a pivot roles in fields that we are situated in, in business, research, and development. I haven't had a chance to talk about how it's transformed, how we conduct, product development, drug development, and medicine, cure discovery, right? So it's fundamentally going to transform research development and marketing, how the product interacts into the market, how the product is developed, and pricing and matching with the right set of audience, customers, and data analytics, accounting, and finance, fintech, and much more. Just look at how our student and company are already benefiting from the AI. And that's only the start. I think the computer is expanding our capability to do many things and do many things faster and better, more efficiently, less costly, and with higher level of quality. It kind of stimulates a lot of the productivity and creativity of human being. But I also, at the same time, I felt we need to have a balanced act. So it's the technology itself is, it just accelerating. The development is accelerating, and then depends on whether you want it to go into this direction or the opposite direction. I still believe the human is on the driver's side. And then the driver's side, it doesn't mean, you and me, but really the institution. So we have to have certain institution capability in this country and in the world to, on one hand, guide the development of this technology toward greater goods, and then at the same time, be mindful of the limitations, 180 biases,
Right.
how you kind of develop this black box in the sense that you remove some of these biases away, and develop this social, political, economic institution that would allow better distribution of the benefits, instead of have winners and losers, job displacement. So the only way of allowing us to be on the driver's side is actually to understand this technology, understand the various ramification of AI. I think we just can't say, no, this is dangerous. We have to harvest the benefit of it, but at the same time, take a more comprehensive perspective of dealing with this technology, and then develop a strong institution around this technology.
Wonderful. Well, Dr. Paul Cotnoir, Dean of the Becker School of Media and Technology, Dr. Jing Zhang, who is the Associate Dean of the School of Business and Professor of Data Analytics here at the Clark University School of Business. I want to thank you both for joining us today and giving us a little bit more information about AI this new phenomenon, both in the classroom and in the business world. So I want to thank our guests, I want to thank our listeners, and highlight the discussion today around this new phenomena called artificial intelligence, the benefits, but there are also some sobering concerns associated with it as well. And we in academia need to find that balance. How do we bring AI technologies to our classrooms so that our students can then use this technology in the business world today and in the future? Thank you for joining us, and come back for our next episode of For Profit and for Good, sponsored by the Clark University School of Business. Thank you all so very much.